Now, this is a new one. You're not confused. You're overriding yourself. What do I mean by that? Here are some patterns that you're overriding yourself. Maybe you ignore your gut feelings. Are you someone that has a gut visceral response like, ooh, something doesn't feel right? But maybe because you're with a crowd of people and you're walking into a space, you don't want to disrupt that pattern. You don't want people to ask you questions like, what do you mean? What's wrong? What's happening? So there you just overrid your own feelings. Another thing that's very common is that you talk yourself out of things. You have an automatic response like, yes, I'm going to do that. And then you go to do it and you start questioning. What if I make a fool out of myself? What if I don't know what to do? What if I don't know what to say? What if I don't know anyone? And you talk yourself right out of it. Another thing we do when we're overriding ourselves is that we start thinking that we need to wait for some kind of certainty. Like maybe you're going into it and you made a decision because it felt good, it felt right. So you took an action forward, but then all of a sudden you're questioning yourself and you're leaning back saying, wait a second, I'm not sure. You start overthinking and overanalyzing, confusing the situation, and you pull yourself out of certainty. Now you're wanting to get back into certainty and finding that clarity again. This is another situation where you're overriding yourself, and that is when you're choosing what makes sense over what feels true. So the next time you think to yourself, that doesn't make sense, why would I do that? I want you to just take a pause and just ask yourself, are you sure it doesn't make sense? And just by asking yourself that question, clarity will start coming in. And if you do end up changing your mind, that's okay too. You're not wrong for changing your mind, and you're not wrong for going with the flow of your first instinct. So I'm sure this has happened many times where you've probably felt exactly what you needed to do and then immediately questioned it. So if you're someone that is susceptible to overthinking and overanalyzing, this is just a normal pattern that you fall into when you're making a decision. Are you more susceptible to go with logic versus an internal decision? Are you needing proof that something is right for you? Or is your fear being disguised as making the smart move? Just asking yourself these simple questions and allowing yourself space to connect with your inner knowing, you're retraining yourself to start listening to the signals in your body. So it's not that you don't know, it's that you don't trust what you know. And that is two different things. Maybe your mind has already gone into editing your first answer. In that moment, I'm going to invite you to just pause and think again about your first answer. What excited you about that? What was the feeling that you got in your body? Where in your body was that feeling? And take your time and notice what comes up for you. Because the more that you notice this, the more that you start seeing this, then you start catching it in real time. You'll start to notice the difference between making a quick decision for the wrong reasons versus following your own gut and your own instinct that pulled you in one direction or another. And in the next video, I'm going to walk you through what actually starts to change when you stop overriding yourself.